Hi there, guys. For those having issues with your Samsung refrigerator, um, I'm sure you already know that these refrigerators have a malfunctioning, a design defect, the side of the refrigerator, not the freezer side. So here's the solution that I found. Hopefully, this will help you too. The first thing is I took all this out, the black part, this, and also this. To get to that, first of all, my refrigerator was frozen. The evaporator, this thing here, was frozen completely. So to do that, I had to use steam, a little unit that you purchase. They sell it almost everywhere. It's a steam machine, and you put steam through the little holes of the back plate, the back cover of the where all this is located, covering this area. Because since it's when it's all iced up, you cannot remove the back plate because it's frozen, stuck to this thing, to the evaporator. So anyways, the first thing I did was, obviously, like I mentioned before, remove the heating elements, which is the black thing on top, and the red, which is a thermistor. This thermistor here, I took it out, put it in this white little tip on the left, put it inside, dipped it into cold water with ice. First, I tested to make sure there was no continuity. I tested with a multimeter for continuity. Put the test leads into each of these little, in the plug, there's to connect two wires. You test it through there, you're not going to get any continuity. Once you put it in the cold water, the tip, while measuring the continuity, you're going to see you put the white tip into a cup with ice and water, a little bit of water, and then you wait. Once it reaches a certain temperature, it's going to supposedly close the circuit, the loop. So you're going to get continuity on the connector once it reaches the temperature that is designed to. I don't remember, and I'm not sure the temperature, but it doesn't matter. You should get a reading, a continuity once it reaches a temperature. You leave it there for a while, it's going to get there if it's good. Mine was bad. It was not giving me continuity. This is called a thermistor. So I purchased that, I got it, and installed it in my refrigerator today, which is, I'm happy that, I was able to find that this was the issue. But other than that, there's other issues with these refrigerators. As you can see, this thing is the heating element. So this also has a thermistor. You see that black thing right there near the red line? Well, okay. What I did with that was I tapped into the line, the black lead there that you see the red line pointing to the bottom lead next to the black little dot there, the thermistor. I put a needle in there and tap into the wire, and then one lead of the multimeter there connected to that, and then the other lead to the connector, to the white connector. So I did the same process, tested it like that to see if there was continuity. There was no continuity, which is normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. Just like in the other one. When it's not cold, this is a switch. Both of them are switches. They activate with temperature. In this case, when they get cold enough, they close the circuit. It's like a switch. So I tested one lead there with a needle, and the other one, the white connector, no continuity. I dipped that thing in water, the thermistor, the black thing. I dipped it in water with ice, the same thing I did with the other one. And this one did give me continuity when it got, to a certain temperature. I cannot tell you the temperature. You just put it in water with ice, and if it's functioning, believe me, you're going to get a reading. You're going to get continuity. Okay, I left the needle there right at the wire that you see the red arrow pointing to. I left the needle in there. I left my multimeter, one lead of the multimeter there, and then the other one to the yellow connector there, to that tip of that wire, the yellow connector. So what I got was the a reading in ohms. Why? Because this is a resistance, the black thing down there. This is a resistance. When the electricity goes through it, it heats it up to defrost the ice. So that's how it works. Okay. The next thing, I found out that this was good because I had resistance in the resistance, and when I dip the thermistor, this one, the black one, in the ice, it gave me continuity. So it passed the test. But the other one that I show you, this one, didn't when I did the test. So, okay, the next thing you gotta do is you get a piece of metal, soft, or even a copper wire or aluminum, taking off, I would say 10 gauge, 12 gauge. You put it just like that, wrap it around there, and you make it a little long enough, because what comes with this thing, with this resistance, with this whole kit, if you want to call it a kit, um, it brings a short piece of metal down there where you see the red. So it's not long enough to defrost all the way down into the hole. So then, based on that, then the ice start clogging the hole, because the little pin that it brings, or the little piece of metal, is not long enough to defrost, to keep the hole defrosted, if that makes sense. So I put a longer piece of metal there, okay? So the other thing is, as you can see here, you see the purple, that's where the metal that comes. You see the purple? It's a little clip there that doesn't go deep into the hole. So that's where I put the little longer metal, piece of metal. And those red lines that you see, I wrapped around at the bottom of the red line. Those red lines indicate copper wires. I used, I believe it was 10 gauge or 12 gauge, if I'm not mistaken. Bare copper wire, not with a plastic covering, bare wire. You could use aluminum or copper, which are good conductive. So I wrapped it around the bottom of the heating element, and I brought it through the evaporator, not like that bended, but internally, like really tight, close to it. And on top, I wrapped it around at the top border where they end on the top, the red lines. I wrapped it around there, the wires. The reason for that is so the heat is distributed throughout the evaporator, because the defect on this thing is that this heating element, this one, as you can see, the element is only at the bottom and a little bit on the side, not even halfway, just a little bit. So it doesn't have enough heat to defrost the whole thing. So that's why the ice builds up here in the center and on the top. And that's where the little fan is. So when it starts building up ice there, it's going to get to the fan, and the fan is going to get clogged, and it's not going to be able to spin. And then once that happens, there's no floor air, then ice start building up on the evaporator, on this thing, which is the evaporator, is going to clog it, and the fan is not going to circulate air. So it's going to build more and more ice, and it's going to be a chunk of ice. And then by not being air flowing, and that's the purpose of the little fan, to move the air around and distribute it and get it out of there, so it doesn't build up, the cold build up. So it basically, when the evaporator is producing the cold, the little fan gets it and throw it out through the little holes of the panel. And also the resistance is supposed to not let the evaporator get all full of ice. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. Those are the things I did to fix the issue. And I believe that's going to do the trick. So far, I'm not sure of the outcome because I did that today, but I was so excited when I did this that I'm almost definitely sure that this is going to be working perfectly after. So I hope this helps you watching because if you're watching this, obviously you have the same issue that I had. Okay, good luck with that.